Hey folks, welcome back to Nkandla, Africa. This is Chris in Central Pennsylvania with Zuma Watch update on the 6th of July, 2021. Major events took place on the 6th of July, 2021 related to the contempt charge and conviction for former President Jacob Zuma in South Africa was the appearance of his attorneys in the Pietermartizburg High Court in KwaZulu-Natal province. Well, a long day of hearings and all kinds of crazy nonsense spewing from the mouth of the head of his legal team, Talon Bezuidenhout, the person associated with the economic freedom fighters, but defending Jacob Zuma in his effort to have the constitutional court's ruling against him set aside. Now, what I find fascinating about this whole thing is that you have the Pietermartizburg High Court, and then you have the Constitutional Court, which is up here. It's the highest court in the land. It adjudicates the Constitution and all law. How can the Pietermartizburg Court even entertain a court hearing from Jacob Zuma to set aside the verdict that a higher court came up with? It doesn't even pass the common sense test. But this is, after all, South Africa, where anything is possible in the realm of stupidity. What happened today in the court case on the 6th of July, 2021 in Pietermartizburg? Well, Talon Bezuidenhout spewed all kinds of nonsense that was contradictory and made no sense whatsoever. And I wouldn't ask anybody to subject themselves to the hours-long testimony that took place. But here's a few highlights from it. Advocate Tembeka Ngukabatobi, who spoke on behalf of the Commission of Inquiry into the State Capture, the Zondo Commission, just tore apart whatever arguments that Dali and Pofu came up with in this Pietermartizburg High Court, as both argued for and against the impending arrest and imprisonment of former President Jacob Zuma, which is due to occur by midnight on the 7th of July, 2021. These arguments went past 6 p.m., and they held judgment until Friday to make a decision. Well, the decision will be moot if, in fact, he's arrested. We'll see what happened. According to the advocate for the Zondo Commission, he said, Mr. Zuma has not handed himself over to the police as he was ordered to do by the Constitutional Court. It's now 2 days since he was supposed to do that on Sunday, the 4th of July. He is again taking the law into his own hands. He has not asked for a variation of that period before the Constitutional Court. This is what the advocate told Judge Jerome Munguni during the virtual hearing because they weren't present for it. We're dealing with a recalcitrant, deliberately defiant litigant. He is presently in defiance of the present contempt of court order, said the advocate. And he's spot on. Absolutely correct. This is what's happening here. Unbelievable behavior by former President Jacob Zuma and his followers and supporters who show up in violation of lockdown restrictions on physical social distancing, wearing a face mask in public, and the fact that there is a total prohibition on all gatherings under the current wave of infections taking place across Gauteng province and South Africa. So no gatherings, private or public, are allowed outdoors or indoors. Unbelievable nonsense that's going on here. This is clear that Jacob Zuma is recalcitrant. Well said by the advocate about him. He also said that it was nonsensical that Police Minister Cele and the National Police Commissioner Cele had opted to file notices to abide because they were seeking clarity from the court. There's no need for clarity. SAPS has until midnight on July 7th to arrest Jacob Zuma for his failure to appear in presence by the 5th or the 4th of July. He was given 5 days until the 4th of July to deliver himself to correctional authorities. He failed to do it. The police were given until the 8th, so that's midnight on the 7th, to have arrested him. We'll see what unfolds. That's the situation on the 6th of July, 2021 for the update on Zuma Watch. Jacob Zuma, the former president of South Africa, convicted of contempt by the Constitutional Court for his failure to appear before the Zondo Commission back on February 24th, thumbing his nose at the rule of law in South Africa and frequently thumbing it ever since then, filing a nonsensical request for rescission for the CONCOURT to rescind its previous decision and conviction, as well as sentencing of 15 months in prison. Makes no sense whatsoever, but that's what Jacob Zuma and his legal team tried to do. They've been given a hearing on the 12th of July. Why? I don't know. It's unprecedented. There's no basis for this whatsoever for this rescission hearing, but they're asking for it. In the meantime, they went to Pietermartizburg High Court to get the lower court to suspend the sentence of a higher court. It makes no sense whatsoever, but how is it even possible they had this conversation? But that is South Africa, folks, and that's where we sit. Talon Bezuidenhout defending Jacob Zuma in the Pietermartizburg High Court and the advocate for the State Capture Commission, clearly and articulately destroying every argument that Talon Bezuidenhout came up with. The bottom line is Jacob Zuma belongs in prison. And that's just for contempt of court. We're not even talking about the charges against him for the arms scandal. Just contempt of court. We'll see what happens as South Africa implodes around the ANC.